Dry friction example. Lightning matchsticks, brushing teeth, ironing clothes, writing on a paper, mopping the floor, rubbing hands, ball bearing, page flipping, kid slide, walking on ground, sanding, cycling on the road, brakes on the automobiles, tug of war, climber, plants, gecko, lizards on the wall, forest fire, water well, pulley. Lightning matchsticks. When the matchsticks are a strike against the rough surface, dry friction is created. Stick catches fire due to the friction. It is an example of kinetic friction, which is converted into heat energy. Brushing teeth. Some sticky particles are deposited on the teeth, which is very challenging to remove. Brushing creates a maximum force to overcome the dry friction acting on the particles, and it is removed from the teeth. Ironing clothes. When we start to iron the clothes, friction permits us to create pressure on the wrinkles on the clothes. The pressure eliminates the wrinkles. If the dry friction is absent, the iron box slides over the clothes. The pressure exerted on the clothes affects the friction acting on the wrinkles. This pressure directly related to the friction force. Writing on a paper. An essential application of friction is writing on paper. The friction acting between the paper and the pen allows the ink molecules to stick on the paper surface. Mopping the floor. The deposition of dirt and some particles on the floor are difficult to remove by normal dusting. Mopping with water creates a force to overcome the friction on the dust, and it is removed from the floor. The friction acting on the dust particles is static friction. It is one of the major household dry friction example. Rubbing hands. Rubbing hands is a very good kinetic friction example. This is associated with the production of heat. The friction developed by rubbing causes to keep the hands warm. Ball bearing. If the friction acting on the machines is more, ball bearing is used to reduce the friction. It uses the method of rolling friction. These are used in almost all the machines for ease move and to work smoothly. So ball bearing is a dry friction example used in machines. Page flipping. Flipping pages from one page to another, friction is necessary. The friction between the two pages allows us to flip to the next page. Without friction, flipping becomes complicated. The page might slip from our hands. Kid slide. Sliding over the kid slides is very joyful that we are all enjoyed in our childhood days. Sliding friction is acting over the kid slide. When we slide down, the friction retards our motion and stops the immediate falling down. Walking on ground. A very important dry friction example in everyday life is walking. We are walking firmly on the ground due to friction force. Walking in the desert is difficult because the friction between our foot and sand offer low friction. So it is clear that friction is very necessary to walk on the ground. Sanding. Sanding is a process to achieve the smoothness from the hard material. It is used to rub the wooden surface and edges. The irregularity in the wooden surface is broken down by the rough surface of the sandpaper, and hence the surface and the edge become smooth. This is used to reduce friction. Cycling on the road. When we ride on the cycle, we start, stop, and can turn whenever we need. Friction acting between the cycle tire and road prevents from skidding on the road. The asymmetry on the cycle tire provides the necessary grip to hold on the road. Gripping allows the cycle to overcome from the friction because it has low value of friction coefficient. Brakes on the automobiles. Brakes are another major dry friction example. The principle involved in the brakes of automobiles is friction. There is friction acting between the brake pad and the wheel exerted when you apply, making the automobile stop the motion. Tug of war. It is a game where two teams pull a rope on their side. There is friction between the hands of the people and the rope, which helps to hold a rope and provide grip to exert a force to pull. Since friction acting between the two solid surface, it is a dry friction example. Climber plants. We can see varieties of climber plants in nature. It is natural dry friction example. They can easily climb the wall, trees, gates, etc. It is because of friction. They generally use the rough surface to climb. Gecko lizards on the wall. The gecko lizards climb the wall vertically so easily because of the friction. The frictional force between the leg and the wall is so strong, so that it provides the grip to climb the wall. Forest fire. Sometimes, the forest catches fire automatically because of the friction. When two trees rub each other, a frictional force is produced, which turn into thermal energy resulting in fire catching. Water well pulley. An excellent example of rolling friction is the water well pulley. A rope is tied with a bucket full of water is drawn from the well with the help of a pulley. It is easy to pull out the bucket from the well due to the friction force acting between the rope and the pulley. Please visit our website lambdageeks.com for more articles on technology, engineering, mathematics, and various other domains. Scientific calculator, and many more other tools.